So, to my understanding, there's a part of the program in which you can volunteer as well.
Yes.
All right.
So our program, we have I believe over 60 volunteers. We have over 60 volunteers, but this is a fairly big county. So we would like to expand our reach, and in order for us to expand our reach, we need volunteers. So if you're interested in volunteers, and it's not like you have to volunteer 5 hours out of a week. You know, it's based upon your availability. So if you're interested in volunteering, and say, you know, we want to make it a valuable experience for volunteers as well. So what we try to do is we try to match the volunteers' skills sets and also their goals, you know, what they would like to get out of the volunteer appointment. And then we see, okay, what would you prefer doing? And then we see, okay, what clubs are interested in those things so that you can provide your skill set and your expertise to that club. So we can, you know, say, okay, well, what area are you living in, or what area do you work in, so that we can match them up. And then when they volunteer, we have established clubs. So when we have established clubs, they can work with those clubs, or if they're interested in starting up a new club within their own community, it can be in a church, it can be at a recreation center. They're able to do that as well, and we provide the training necessary in order to start up those clubs.
Great. Now, does volunteers have to be join the 4-H, or can they just volunteer?
Well, yeah, once they volunteer with 4-H, they'll become an official 4-H volunteer, and they'll be appointed to a position, or you may want to participate on a short-term basis, and we have that available as well. And you'll need to just complete an application, and once you complete the application, you have to complete trainings, and once you complete your training, then you're considered as a MCE volunteer.
MCE.
Maryland Cooperative Extension.
All right, Maryland Cooperative Extension. It's starting to make sure it wasn't Microsoft Corporation or something executive.
No.
Got to know what these initials stand for,
yes.
Sometimes the acronyms. All right, well, great, guys. All right, now let's get into the juicy part of our conversation.
Okay.
We're ready to talk about this tobacco prevention project. First of all, who came up with the idea?
Well, we were awarded a grant from MOTA. That's a Minority Outreach and Technical Assistance Program at Bowie. And I wanted to provide an outlet for youth to, you know, be very creative so that they can help other youth. Mm-hmm. And, you know, inform them of the dangers of tobacco so that they don't start using tobacco. So I said, okay, well, what can we do that the youth can really gain something out of the project, but also educate other youth at the same time? So we wanted to motivate youth to get involved in order to empower younger people. So I said, okay, well, we need to do a tobacco prevention public service announcement, and that gets the message out there. And then that also catches younger kids, that stands out to them, and then they say, oh, okay, that's fun, then I can be a part of that. So I know not only can I accomplish my goals with starting off smoking tobacco, it makes it that much more difficult, but then they see these older kids taking control over the project, then they develop an interest and want to get involved and empower their peers. So it came from that. We were awarded a grant. So what happened was it was a series of workshops that the youth participated in. And in order for them to participate in the program, they submitted an essay. And the essay, they told why they think they would be a great asset to the program, and then also what they think they can gain from the program. So the boys can tell you more about what they submitted.
Okay. Well, Bruce, what did you submit?
My essay basically just said that I'm trying to add to my resume by doing something positive and reaching out to other people. Yeah. If I don't have anything to do, I do something positive with my time instead of messing up something, doing something negative that's not going to get me anywhere.
Well, that's great, man. That's a great principle to live by. You had to write an essay too, Braxton?
Yes, we all wrote essays, but what my purpose was for getting into this program was I want to help everyone, not just the youth, but I'm growing up as well as a young man, and I'm worried about everyone. And I see there's increased death with tobacco, but you know, tobacco doesn't start when you're older. People start smoking tobacco as early as 11.
Wow.
And that's a concern. And And when you use tobacco, that's a gateway to other things, and that's what you see out here, and that's what I'm trying to prevent. Not only stop, but prevent that.
Wow, that's great. How about you, Brian? What did you write your essay?
My essay was about basically I seen a lot of my peers smoking and drinking and doing other things, and so I wasn't trying to be a part of that, and so I just had to write something down that made being good enough for me to be accepted, so I could be a part of this program.
Well, that's great. You know, I think any type of preventive message when it comes to tobacco, and I'm glad you called it tobacco prevention and not so much just smoking or anti-smoking message, because, you know, I'm seeing 12 and 13-year-olds now with cigars. You know, so it's not about cigarettes anymore. You know, it's always a look. It's always this air of wanting to look a certain way or be accepted in my culture. So, you know, they're smoking cigars now. So when we say tobacco, you know, that focuses on the cigarette, the cigar, any other type of grain of wheat that somebody can put in wrap up. Now, you said you had a sponsor for this project?
Yep, MODA. That's the Minority Outreach and Technical Assistance Program through Bowie. And really, we know that tobacco prevention, that's an emerging issue. And when young people start to use tobacco, that leads into more problematic behaviors, and they start engaging in risky behaviors such as, you know, those things. Their school grades can start slacking, they begin truancy, and then also, to take it a step further, violence. So we want to prevent that. So we said, okay, MODA, they provide technical assistance, and then we can also get the youth involved and participate in this project, because it's a catchy way to capture them. So since it's an emerging issue, we need to tackle this head on. So the tobacco prevention public service announcement, and it's currently being aired, so that's a good way to get the message out there to you.
Now, I've heard, you know, a couple of you say things such as what effects tobacco can have on a person. Does that mean that you committed a certain amount of research to this project?
Yes. Well, we had a series of workshops, and throughout that workshop, the youth, we're currently using a curriculum called Health Rock, and that curriculum educates youth on the dangers of tobacco, and not only educate them, we equip them with the necessary skills so that they develop strategies so that they don't resort to tobacco and other drugs as well to deal with their problems. So it's not only about not using tobacco, but what are you going to use when you get stressed out? What are some things that you're going to use? So the Health Rocks curriculum, we educated them on that, and they completed a teacher's training. So that gave them the background knowledge of, you know, the dangers of tobacco. And then what we did was we had a working session where we came up with a tagline. They developed a script, and then we went down to Washington, D.C., and they recorded video footage and also photographs to be included. So, yeah, research was involved, and then they also went through the necessary workshops in order to be informed of the dangers of tobacco.
Okay. Well, how did you go about actually staffing your cast? How did you go about knowing who you wanted to use for this particular project? You know, bringing it all about, pivotal people, because I noticed that you have graphics. I noticed that you have really nice music. I noticed that, you know, you have some characters. How did you put all that to play?
Well, actually, it's kind of funny because when we started off, we had some sort of idea of how everything was going to work. But, you know, this was the first time that this group worked together. So we picked jobs. We selected jobs. So it was like, you know, a job description. This job is available. Who has some experience in this or who has some interest in this? So we started off that way. But of course, once we began working on the project, things kind of shifted around. So they selected their jobs, but it was pretty much based upon their participation. So some of the kids, they really excelled at taking photographs, so that was their primary role. And then some of the youth, when we got in, I would say our editing booth, when we started editing, they just took control. They took control. They had ideas of what songs we should use, so they took control of the project. I assisted as needed